In 2023, I lived in a little village in the mountains in the middle of nowhere in Italy. It was absolutely stunning. There were mountains, there were valleys, there was a village. It was very, very cute, and I'm going to tell you about it today. The village was located more or less in the middle of Italy in the region of Abruzzo, in the province of Pescara, which is the capital of Abruzzo. But it actually took about an hour by car to get to Pescara, and it was in the middle, so it took about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours per car as well to get to Rome. There were no gyms, no supermarkets, virtually nothing actually. It were just a few houses in the mountain and nothing else. You could get out of the village in like literally 2 minutes. You had a nice view of the valley because it was very steep and you were very high up. So it was a very, very nice experience. But to actually do anything, you had to take a bus that led you to a city or a little town actually, about a half hour away. And then in the bigger village is where you would do shopping, is where I would go to the gym, and then I would take the bus back. But this bus was only around maybe 5 times a day, so you really had to calculate everything right. Otherwise, you might have to spend 2 extra hours in the city because you ended up missing your bus back home. The village was almost entirely comprised of old people because I feel like any younger people would want to leave to have a little bit more of a bustling lifestyle and more job opportunities. So it ended up being that there were only half a dozen people that were more or less my age, and a few of them were actually my friends that were living in the same house as I was. I worked remotely with a view of the mountains, went to the gym every day, walked around, explored the mountains, explored the forest. It was very peaceful, very quiet, and the only other thing I did was try to do Italian on Duolingo every single day to actually practice, and then go about in the village, maybe find someone at the local bar, maybe find someone in the local store, and actually try to talk to them in Italian, especially since they didn't know English, so I really didn't have a choice, and it was a great way of starting to actually learn a little bit of Italian. To do anything remotely touristy in Italy, I had to take a bus from the village to the nearby town, and then from the town to the actual city, which was Pescara. And then from Pescara, I would actually take a flight or a train and actually go places that are actually touristy in Italy. Because honestly, in those other ones, in the village, in the town, it's not touristy at all. There's virtually nothing to do. It's definitely more for the quiet living than for the getting to know a little bit of the Italian experience, let's say. And the funny thing is that even though this village was actually pretty close to Rome, it's only a couple hours away, my lifestyle in the village and my lifestyle in Rome couldn't possibly have been more different. The village was absolutely for quiet living, for introspection, for taking strolls in the forest and that kind of thing. Whereas Rome, I was literally living in a party hostel and like talking to international people all the time, going to the famous Roman sightseeing and all that. It was very different experiences, both of them very fun. I mean, both of them very meaningful, very nice, but Rome was definitely more fun, whereas the village was more introspective and curious, let's say. One thing I do have to say is the village was very good for people needing some exercise because besides being built upon a mountain like this, it was very steep and there were stairs everywhere, very narrow. No matter where you lived, you would have to take like 100 steps, either going up, going down, anytime you wanted to take the bus, or even to get your car out because there was actually only one place in the entire village where you could actually park your car, and then from there you would walk up or down the mountain wherever it is that your home was actually in. But overall, it was totally worth it. I would have done it again. Maybe I'll go back there one day. I'm not sure. And it definitely made me a little bit more of an authentic Italian living compared to Rome or even compared to Naples, because those are just bigger cities and I was in very different contexts in them. So it was a little bit more of Italian per se, let's say. And it was definitely worth it, even if it wasn't that long of a period of time.